Hey again. So now that you know how to find your feedback, I want to talk a little bit more about your feedback for this last writing assignment that I just graded, which was your thank you letter. First of all, thank you for writing such lovely thank you letters. It was really enjoyable to read what you had to say. I hope that you do give your thank you letter to the person that it's to, because they're very lovely and I think they will be happy to see them. Okay, so we are going to do another draft of your thank you letter just to make some improvements and work on grammar. So if I were really a student in my own class and I was on the Home tab, then over here I would have a line that said feedback, recent feedback, but I don't have that. So I have to go to our week 5 unit at the bottom and click on our project, which was the thank you letter. From here, I'll go to submission details, like I said in the last video. And let's take a moment to look at the rubric. So our rubric had 4 criteria, and if you want to see what they are, you can click on them. So our first criteria is about the content of your letter. So you were supposed to say thank you in general first, and then give 2 to 3 specific reasons. So here, this student got 2 points for that, and that was full marks. You could get 1 or 0. The next criteria was letter format. So I am asking you to start with dear and end with sincerely, or a similar expression would be fine. And then I also want it to be neat and edited for things like spelling, capital letters, clear ideas, just basic clear writing. So this person got 2 points for that. My next criteria was about grammar unit 1. So unit 1 was all about complete sentences, using correct parts of speech. We worked on participial adjectives. I think those are the big ones. So basically I'm looking for complete sentences and correct parts of speech here. So this person got 2 points, which means they weren't perfect, but they had a high accuracy with that. We also have the choice of low accuracy or 0. I don't think anyone got 0s. And then grammar unit 2 was our next thing we studied, which was gerunds and infinitives. So for the assignment, I asked you to do at least 6 gerunds and infinitives. And then I look overall for correct use of gerunds and infinitives in the paper. So this person got mostly accurate, so they got 2 out of 3 points. So their total up here shows 8 out of 10 points. So I'm going to close that rubric. Now, do you remember, how can I open my line-by-line feedback for my thank you letter? Did you say view feedback? You got it. So I'm going to view feedback. I'm going to pop it open a little bit bigger here. And here is the paper that I submitted. See if I can make it a little bigger. This is small. There we go. So most people got a lot more feedback than this. So don't feel alone. This is just my example. But I wanted to point out the different colors that I'm using to give you feedback. So I used red. So here's my red feedback. I used green. And then I have these blue underlines. So let's start with the blue underlines. There's no problem with these. This is great. I just underlined every time I saw a gerund and infinitive used correctly. So I used that to count to make sure that you had 6. So in this paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there were 9 gerunds and infinitives used correctly. So that person would get full points on their gerunds and infinitives. The red comments are the comments that would affect your grade. Not necessarily if you just get 1, but if I start to have more than 1, that's going to start to affect your scores. So for example, this was about use of infinitives, and this was about fragments. So those are things that I asked you to check for. And so if you had a lot of those red errors, that would start to affect your score. The green errors are things that we haven't covered yet and things that are not going to affect your score, but I want you to know for things that are coming up. So I gave a lot of green comments about verb tenses because those are things we've started now. So when we do our draft 2, I'd like you to start thinking about some of these verb tense issues. They did not affect your score this time, but they will the next time if you don't make those changes. So I will hit the arrows again to come back to my main screen. So you remember, I hope, that I gave you this blue book, right? So I'm going to give you instructions, written instructions on what to do with the blue book, but let's see if you can see it here. So in my blue book, I wrote the name of the assignment here, thank you letter, this is draft 1, and then you're going to have 2 columns. What you wrote, that was, some problem, there was some problem with it, you got some feedback on it, and then here, the change that you need to make it correct. So I'm going to go through my feedback and I'm going to log what were the things that I wrote that were incorrect or had some problem, something to change, and then what is the change that I need to make. So if I go back to my paper here, I said after want, you need to put infinitive. So I said, I want, know how I feel. And I need to write, I want to know. So, see if I can get you to see this. There you go. My first log would look like that. I wrote, I want you to know how I feel. But I needed to say, I want you to know how I feel. So you'll go through and log what you said and what you needed to say. So you're going to turn this into me. So I'd like you to go through your errors from your thank you letter. And then maybe some you aren't sure how to correct. So you'll have what you wrote in here, and you can show it to me. And you can ask me, what did you mean about that? So we'll have some time for that in class. Okay? So really I'm just trying to find ways for you to learn the most you can from your writing assignments and really learn how to take the grammar that we do in class and not just do well on a grammar quiz, but really use it in your writing. That's my goal. All right? So, good luck.